We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion. Do it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, holidays and weekends. We can have one more party. There's more hell we should be raising. One more party now, one more party tonight.
Hi everyone, and welcome to part 4 of our old barn series that we're doing. Yesterday we got the first part of the box carring, which forms the frame of our picture, and I was very pleased to get that in. Some of the parts that I thought might not be so good, actually when they dried and I spent the evening looking at them, I thought fine. And today I would really like to do the details on that so it's finished, and start on the roof of the old barn itself. So let's get cracking. So here's our original, but we had a lightened version that we used so we could actually see the details there. One detail that really did catch my eye was the line that I'd put in here, which was, it's not actually quite straight on the reference picture, but it's just annoying me, so I'm going to have to straighten that out. I'm going to have to paint over it and straighten that out. And having done that, I think the rest of the colours are I'm quite happy with them, really. I mean, they need, we need to detail them. But the other thing that I really want to do today is the roof of the old barn. So let's transfer that into its position. Ruler is the thing. Now this has got a chimney pot on it, which I hadn't noticed, but it's there. It needs to be put in. And I don't know what that is. I think it might be a bit of the other side of it that's flipped up in the wind or something, but I'm going to ignore that because it doesn't really describe anything very well. I'm going to draw a line here, although some of the parts are slightly up and some are slightly down, but that is the general direction of that. Now then, I think it's there. So we'll draw that in right to the top. Let's have a look and see what that looks like. Yeah, that's good. That's the. Now this is a really good example of perspective. It's something I haven't spoken to you about before because it hasn't come up really. But this end here is much longer. It's down to there. And if you took that up to there, you can see how much we've lost. And that's because we're actually looking there and the barn's going away from us. Now in this instance, we're transferring it so we don't really have to think about it too much. But it's always good to be aware that things that are closer to you are larger and they have more detail in them. As you go further away, if you think about a street, how high the houses are in a street, when you're standing right outside, these two houses here, they're big, the house size. But as you look down the street, the road itself narrows and the houses seem to get shorter. We are used to dealing with that. Our brain deals with that very well. And, it doesn't tell you that number 60 is just for people with limited height problems. It's, we know that it's the same size as the one we're beside. That's just how we see it. So, as I say, on this one, we're transferring it so we don't have to put any thought into it. But when you get your feet under you and you're painting your own things, then you really will have to give a lot of thought to perspective. It really brings things to life. So I think the first thing to do, seeing as it's the highest one on the, I don't want to put wet paint on here and then have to be reaching over to that. So let's make a start. So I'm going to use a 1/4 inch angle shader, a small liner brush, and maybe even a smaller one still. I've got the paints out, the same as I used yesterday, So nothing's changed in that department, and I've got my reference picture to go off to try and get a good match with what we had yesterday. And I'm just going to try and mix up that purple that we had yesterday, and I can't really remember how I mixed it, but I'm sure it had purple in it, and I'm sure it had raw umber in it. That looks very, very purpley. Just put a bit of white in there and see what colour we've actually got. It's not far off. It's the right. I'm in the right family, I think. Maybe a little bit more purple. Tiny little bit more raw umber. Let's see what that gives us. I knew I should have made a note of this yesterday, but that's way too organised for anything I might ever do. That's a nice grey, actually, with just a purple, hint of purple in it. Which I think if you didn't know there was purple in it, you wouldn't necessarily notice. I don't know whether to make that slightly more purple to... No, I think I'll leave it at that. We are just putting details in today, having done all our blocking out yesterday, last time, which was great. Right, so let's start along at this end. And we've got these two very, very bright sienna markings here that need to be knocked back considerably. I think yesterday actually I also had bone black out, which I haven't got out today. So I'll put some of that out. And I think that this section here calls for bone black. It is very, very dark underneath the sienna. So we'll put that in. This is, a really good way to practice your straight lines and your brush work. So this is one of these pictures that's just a little bit easy to get lost in, actually. So really pay good attention to what's going on. So this piece here is this piece here, which has got some purpley bits in it. And this piece here is this very dark piece. So I think we'll carry on with the bone black and just a bit of the raw umber. And it's pretty featureless actually along here. It's just dark. We're coming down onto that line that we masked off yesterday. So I haven't got my masking tape today, so I'll be careful that I don't run over. And it just sort of goes off into that sienna there. That's fine. Now then, the next one up, which I've got is pretty light coloured here. Just got a little bit of dark in here. These are details that you don't have to get caught up in if you don't want to. I mean, the purpose of doing the painting is that we're learning, and so it would be a shame if you felt you didn't want to put them in. But the way we left it yesterday would probably, it might be all right for you. But I recommend cracking on. Putting as many details in as you possibly can. Itchy nose. That mean I'm going to have a fight with somebody. I hope it's not you, Mr. H.
So do I.
We've never had a fight in however long we've been together, so let's hope it's not today. So this is quite dark, but it's darker along there, actually, and the rest is that sort of weird purplish colour. And it comes down into there. So really pay good attention to your reference picture. It's very easy to get lost in this one. So there's just this sliver of titanium buff there, and then it goes quite dark again up to there. Yeah, I was unkindly yesterday calling a toilet cistern, but that's what it looks like to me. I appreciate it's something to do with the sliding thing of the door, but that's not as exciting as calling it a toilet cistern. It's just got some sort of lines, some striations in this wood that come out, and they go all the way along to about there, and then we need to get some purple on it. Okay, there's some dark underneath here that we haven't put in. It needs to go in. Joins up with that line we've just been doing. It leaves it like that. Like that, excellent. Right, so some dark, we've got some dark in there already. Got our dark in there, we've got that dark, got that dark. Right, now we need to tackle this. The elephant in the room. So, I'm just going to get some of the titanium buff and restate our line where I want it to be, which is along here, and where I made my pastel mark. It's a good bit lighter than I actually want it to be, but that's kind of its first coat, if you like, its first covering. We'll just leave that to dry, and then we can come back and, I mean, even that looks better to me now. So now we need to bring up the purple and the dark colours to that line. So let's try this purple for size. It's a lot lighter than yesterday's purple. I think I might have to add some more. I'll add some more raw umber to that. I need a spatula because I've got rather a lot here now. Just add a little bit more of that to it. Darken it down a little bit. I'm not sure yesterday if I'd maybe used the Titan buff to go through it rather than the white, which might have given us the colour we had yesterday. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's, you know, it's fine. Doesn't matter if we've got two different shades of it. It'll be fine. In fact, it will give us more interest. So this piece that we're talking about comes down here, and it comes down to that white or Titan buff line that we've just put in. And I think it's worth doing this. I think it's worth spending the time and doing it, because I couldn't live with it. It's driving me dotty. That's fine.
Another example of, you know, that a good photograph doesn't necessarily make a good painting. Because as you say on the photograph, that line isn't straight.
Yeah.
But when you paint it,
yeah,
it looks wrong.
Yeah, it does. No, definitely not all photographs, no matter how pretty they are. They don't all make good paintings. This is covering yesterday's really quite well. Yesterday's, you know, it was first coat onto the canvas, so it was a little bit patchy. So we'll put that on now and leave that to dry, and then we can come back and put the bolts or whatever they are on it. This is another bit that needs, seem to have a bee joining us in the studio today. I just want a tiny little brush, so I'm just going to use this little liner here, wet it, pick up some of this colour, just make some marks up into there, like so, and a hook at the bottom, need to paint that in the same colour. So there we are. Now then, moving along the bus, or the boxcar as it is, I'm just going to carry on with this purple mix, because there is a sort of, it's just a bit mottled here. I'm not sure if that's not standing proud, actually. I'll leave it like that because I quite like it like that. Gives the impression that it's standing proud, which it may or may not be, no idea. And this is quite a dark purple here, so I'm going to have to mix some more purple into this. Just into a section, don't mix it throughout, because we only want it for this piece. The picture's sort of gone a bit fuzzy at this stage. I don't know what's occurring. You know, I need more purple than that. Let's try that one. Well, that's a different colour anyway, so that's good. Just feather that into there. And feather this over here. Right. Well, this is looking a bit underwhelming at the moment. Let's see if we can cheer his day up somewhat. There's a lot of very dark in here. It's not actually this colour. So I'm just going to get the paint off my brush, and I'm just going to pull that out and dry brush that. So it's there, but not so much of it. Dry brush that, push your brush right down. And get that nice effect. Right, so I probably need to go back into the very dark recesses, back into this mix of bone black and raw umber, which is pretty much dried, so I'm going to have to mix some more up. A bit more black in that. And a bit more black still. Right, so where are we? This is black down here. Let's put that in once and for all. That is black. Okay. There's a kind of black, dirty sort of shadow there and here. So I'm just dry brushing. I want the colour, but I don't want any sort of saturation at all. Just the image of it looking dark. Over there as well. That's fine. So this piece here that we've just had to put in again, it's quite dark above it. Just put that in, and this one that comes down here, it's quite dark. I think the parts of the ceiling of the thing. So we need some darkness in here, but not complete blackness. And down here. So you just darken it with a dry brush, really. You could do it with bone black and a glazing medium if you wanted to, but so far we're all right with what we've got, I think. I'm going to have to put some on here because it's not all one colour, and in actual fact it's quite purple. And see, I'm reading that as purple. So that's what I'm going for. So I've got some on my brush, I'm going to knock it off and then come back and just dry brush that. And there's a very dark line along the bottom of that actually. Down there. And it just knock some of that off. I don't want to put too much colour on here. Having said that, I would like some colour. So just bring that up like that. It just gives it a bit of definition to its shape. I'm quite happy with that. We've got the original purpley hue from yesterday, today's, and then some black on top of it. And at some stage I'll come and put some screw nut bolt things. I don't know the difference between them, but something like that is going on there. I've got purple on my brush, which I'm helping pick up some of this dark colour, and we'll just make sure that we're all right here. It all looks a little bit bodged, and we don't want that. That's dark right down to there. I mean, that's the thing, you have to remember this was its first coat yesterday, so we're covering canvas and we're doing all right, really. So that's dark in there, and this has just got some areas of darkness. I might go over that again with the sienna, but that's kind of what it's like anyway, so we're all right there. A bit more dark into this one. That's got its dark down there, needs a little line of dark running along there. And it's got that dark coming down here, so that's fine. Which paint have I got on the brush? Just dry brush that up from the bottom there. It's all about sort of wear and tear and rust and decay, really. So there, yeah, I like that. That's looking good. How's that look on the monitor?
Looking good.
It's weird, isn't it? Because this doesn't look like it's part of the picture.
I know it doesn't.
It's really strange.
It's like your actual picture is at a funny angle underneath that.
Yeah. I thought that all evening, you know, if it caught my eye, I thought, what's that painting doing on its side?
I think when we get the left and right in, then it'll...
Yeah, write itself up a bit.
You bring it all together.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's sort of...
Well, we haven't even got the barn in yet, so it's got nothing to ground it.
No, it's just, at the moment, it's just a roof on the sky.
Yeah, a roof on the sky. Yeah. That is indeed what it is. So I just need a little bit of dark along here, like that. I need to sort this out somehow. This has got lots of different variation going on in it. There we are. I think that's okay. I'll come back with a lighter colour in a sec. It's actually quite dark up there, to be honest. So we'll give it what it needs. And this seems to just come out over here into there. Okay. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but it's something like that. Okay, so I think this one here needs some attention, so let's give it some loving. Some loving. I've got paint on my own.
Nope. Unusually.
I know, it is unusual.
Give it time.
So it does have this sienna part to it, but it's not as bright as I put it in, so I'm going to have to go over that and calm that down a little. It's a little too excited.
And of course, when we come to the end, then we'll be doing the tour around the canvas.
Yeah, exactly.
With more shades, shadows, glazes.
Tarting and titivating.
Exactly.
That's all right though, like that.
Otherwise you could spend hours in the...
I mean, you've got to crack on at some stage.
Hours in the sky roof and never actually get any further.
Yeah. And you've obviously got to put the basics in, and a little more, I think, at this stage.
Oh, yeah.
The basics and some detail.
It's not meant as a criticism, just a general comment from the sidelines.
That looks better with that colour in there. It's definitely giving us the right idea of where things are. So I'm just going to address this sienna here, and I'm going to address it with some titanium buff, which I'm just going to knock down with a bit of water. I want it more as a sort of wash type colour. That'll dry later, so don't worry about that. So yeah, that's fine like that. So now we've still got this line that we first put in that we were waiting to dry, and that's a sort of raw sienna titanium white sort of colour. I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of that titanium white, then titanium buff. Let's mix too much raw sienna into that. Just going to take a little bit of that off to one side and mix some more of that through it. That's better colour. So it's here. This is where we need to. It's not exactly straight, this. I don't want to paint it in as too straight. I'm still not convinced that that shape has been very light.
No, it looks alright to me.
It looks alright. Let's add that and see if that helps. Yeah, I might like that better, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit of a match for the other side.
Yeah.
In particular when it dries, it'll darken up a little bit, won't it?
Yeah. Right, so I think we just need a little bit of lightness on here and a little bit of lightness on there, and then I'm relatively happy with that. Need some bolts, probably. Screws, nuts, whatever, you know what I mean. Fastenings, metal fastenings.
I could always do a tutorial for you on the difference between a nut and a bolt and a screw, if you like.
That's alright, thanks. I know you're there if I need to know such things, you know what I mean? I'm glad that you're there.
It wouldn't be the most exciting of things.
No, quite. Although some people, probably... There's collectors for all sorts of things, All sorts.
If you can think of it, there'll be an expert in it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And a collector.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I know, it's strange. Some, the things that some people get really excited about. But then they probably can't understand why I get excited about paint. Okay, so we're making progress, which is good. Right, okay. I'm quite happy with that, really. I don't see that much wrong with it. I still think this is a bit too sienna. This is full strength paint now. It's not wash-like. Here comes Mr. Handyman with his pointer. I just warn you of that. I can see him just out of shot. Hovering with this blooming pointer thing. He's seen something that he wants amended. I know what he's going to end up getting amended if he keeps this up.
I know I'm going to be wearing this pointer.
Okay, point away.
On that bit there.
The toilet system?
Yeah, just needs it sort of thickening up. Because it comes down and then around, it's making it look like it's bent on the bottom of that plate.
Yeah.
So that bit there just needs taking down a bit.
Which bit?
Ting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see on there, the white's thicker.
Oh, right, okay,
On the left-hand edge.
On this edge here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Thanks for your input.
That's all right.
No bugger off.
We're just making the plate look like it was curved inwards.
Doesn't come right to the bottom, I don't think. I think it comes to there. What's that saying to you?
Thumbs up.
Where is it?
In your screen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thumbs up.
This one in that one in case it's a thumbs up.
Oh, go away. Go and play with somebody. Now I've lightened that bit that Mr. H discovered. I've got some other bits I'm going to have to put light in, otherwise that's going to be my very lightest light. Which is going to look a bit strange. Right, okay. I think I'm probably going to need to give that another coat because it's a light covering a very dark.
As we say, we'll revisit.
Yeah, I'd like to think I've got it pretty not far off the mark. There is a light line across there. Yeah, I'm liking that. Actually looking at it now. See what you sparked off now? This whole blinking light business.
Yeah.
Might as well get it in there.
For the sake of completeness.
Oh, how I hate that saying. Right, okay. So I'm just going to get some very purpley shade tint and just go back over some of this. I've just put light over. I like the idea of having lots of different shades of purple and our purple tone in here. Gives it an old look. Like me. Okay, so I think I can say that that's me pretty much finished. Oh no, nuts and bolts, woman. Right, where are they? Out you come. Right, so from this end, none, 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 none. I don't know, is that one? I'll put it in, I'll pretend it is, even if it isn't. Bring some black over here. So there's sort of...
I'm sure there's a few screws loose somewhere on there and on the picture.
Couldn't you just tell that was coming, people? I mean, you could tell that was on its way. So this has got a line down the middle of it, and then it's got a circle there, and then a sort of line. I don't know, then that's about it. There is a circle there. That might be one there. Sort of here, here-ish. And then there's one on the cross beam bit. But it's in light because it's on the dark. So it's kind of here. It's sort of half and half, really, like that. And there's one here. I'll water my brush. One here. And there's one here, just off the page. Okay, I think that's about it. Not sure I like the colour of that, just liven it up a little bit. Right, can you in your pointy finger see anything that I've missed or should go over? I think it's more dark in that actually than a...
Asked and answered.
Were you going to say that?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I asked it and...
I've got to fill in the roof of the old barn.
No, I'm going to make a start today. Come H or high water. Have you worked out what the H stands for?
Hippopotamus.
Yes, correct. No.
Hysterical.
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah. So there is a dark section in here. And then there's this line up here. And there's a lot of detail in this. And I'm trying to make it so it's, suitable for all. So if you want to carry on and put more detail in, which I would if it was my own painting, I would be here for ages putting detail in. And
which again, as I say, we can do at the end.
It's just a little on the...
Because it is your own painting, believe it or not.
Yeah, it is my own painting, of course it is, but we're trying to do it so beginners can have a chance at being able to do it. Right, I'm quite happy with that now. I think, as Mr. H says, when we come to the end and we're going around looking at what's right, what's not right sort of thing, then it may be that we feel we need to add more detail or add something, a bit of colour here or there. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, so good. I'm happy with that. Right, let's move on to this blooming roof, which I'm going to make a start on today, if it kills me. Okay, we actually just stopped for a break there, and looking at it, I can see that this piece here, the toilet cistern, is actually a piece of plate metal that's got a kink in it about there, which we haven't put in. So I need to get the lighter of our two purple mixers and just, I'm going to have to put my old screw things in again. And it just comes to there. And then it goes darker. Actually, I'm just going to mix a bit, the paint's drying up a bit here. Just going to mix a bit of raw umber into that same mixture we're just using to get a darker colour. That's not right, I need it more purpley as well. Right, I think that's probably a good colour for it. As it sort of comes, makes it the same colour. And it comes off at in an angle which is square, not bent as I had it. So that's, and it's quite dark in there. I'm just going to add a bit of bone black to that. A bit more perhaps. This bit on the end is quite dark, as I say. But it is square, not the curve on it that I had, which was wrong. That's that. I just need the bone black to just tickle under there to give it an idea that it's bent. I think that's all right now. And put the bolts back in, and then we can trot on with our roof. At least get it blocked in. If we get it blocked in, I'll think that we've done all right. There's water dripping off my brush. Let's put those in again. And the other thing that I noticed is this just needs a little line under there to give it some dimension. Right, I'm definitely finished with it now. I hope that looks alright. I'm not too convinced by it, but I think it just needs a straight line down there. And after that, there's not much I can do, really. Right, roof. Okay, well, let's have a study of this roof and see what it's all about. It looks like it's striped. The tins of corrugated, well, I don't know if they're corrugated, actually. Is that corrugated to you?
It is corrugated.
It's corrugated, okay. And the stripes are rust that have occurred because you can see on this bit that's blown off here that there's lats underneath it that the corrugated metal's been attached to, and the rust has formed where these lats are lying. So we need to get a base colour in, and I'm suggesting that the base colour we use is the titanium white. I think that's a good base colour for us. So, let's get a brush.
Do we need to revert to the original reference picture, being as that's the lightened one?
Ah, that's a good point. There's obviously not too many shadows on the roof because it hasn't changed the roof dramatically.
No, well, the darker shadows were definitely inside the
box car. Yeah, so let's use Let's use a slightly bigger brush than that. That's a 3/8 angle shader I'm using. Just take some of this Titan buff and we'll block it in with this. There is a section, I mean I'm going over the sky here so it's definitely going to take a few coats. There is a section which is, let's just draw it in. It's white, that's not good. Here. And it comes down just from here and goes up like that. And this is the part that hasn't got any metal on it. So we don't want to block that in particularly, although it does have sky on it.
Put a large picture on the screen should you need to check anything.
You've put a large picture
on the screen so that you can see.
All right, okay, thank you.
At this point it may make sense for some people to sort of zoom in on that roof and print it out at a larger size so you can actually see some of the detail.
I'm just going to have to clean this up because it's just not right. Let me just turn it sideways on. Just find straight lines sideways on much easier. You can mask this if you want to, of course. It's probably a sensible way of going on. Okay, so finally I've got a straight line. It's a good job we know tricks to erase paint where we don't want it. I don't feel badly about that either, about getting paint where you don't want it. Happens to everyone. I have to put quite a bit of paint on here to get past that blue of the sky, which we definitely don't want on the roof. But if you get one coat on, then dry it, then we can put another coat on, and we should be, at the stage then of losing that blue, I would have thought. So just this little piece down here. Okay, so let's dry that off and put another coat on it when it's dry. So excuse me a minute. Mr. H will keep you amused. Did Mr. H keep you amused? No, he didn't. He's lost his voice. Tree's looking nice now it's hemmed in, top and bottom.
It is. Of course, once I silence the air dryer, then I also silence me.
Oh dear! All right, well, so there's not much you can say then, is there really?
Not really.
Well, you can say anything you like.
Well, I can do a mime act.
Yeah. Just be careful when you've used the hairdryer on your painting that you give it a second or two to just cool down, because otherwise you're putting acrylic paint onto a warm surface and it will just stick. It'll stick like glue. So just beware of that. We've got our chimney pot to put on as well. Which is, what sort of colour is the chimney pot?
It looks like weathered wood.
Weathered wood?
Yeah.
Oh, we're good with weathered wood. It's going to need a third coat to get over that blue, I'm afraid to say.
And it may just be a vent, because looking at the barn with the door on the end, it looks like sort of a hay barn.
All right.
On top, so it may just be a vent to let the heat out from the straw.
Yeah, because they can go on fire.
And if they have no ventilation.
If they have no ventilation, they can. What colour is that there? It's a dark colour, isn't it, with light over it? So I'll just put that in now, seeing as I've got some darks hanging around. I'll just use some raw umber. I think it'll be dark enough. It goes right up to the top, yes. So put that in. That's for the section where the metal sheets come off, and all we can see are the lats underneath. Okay, similarly that's going to need another coat as well, but let's just dry that and then get another coat. So that's dry, if a little warm. So we'll just cool it down a bit.
No need to flap.
There we are, right. So one more coat and I'm sure we'll be there then. It might be easier for you if you're not actually painting along with you. You might find it easier if you do the first coat in titanium white, which has got excellent coverage. Obviously more, I'd say, than this colour, the titanium buff that we're using. So I think were I to approach this again, I would give it the first coat in titanium white. But I think we're getting there now. I think actually that's near enough now, because there's detail going on top of it, and I think it'll be all right. Got all the rust and everything to put in on top of it. I've got this tree at this side as well, which is really dark and wants to show through all the time. Just a section there that just doesn't want to cover. But, I'm just going to live with it. happy to live with that. Let's put in this darker bit here, which is covering nicely because it's dark.
Just like to point out this time, if you can hear any weird noises, it's actually the dog chewing his foot. and not anything that I may be up to.
Right, okay, so I'm going to call it, I think, at that. I will be, putting coats on this still at Christmas time. So I'm going to dry that so that I can get our transfer over and see. Okay, so that's fine. That's dry. Right, let's just pop our transfer paper there so as we can mark out where these bits of metal are. So the first one is there, and it comes up here. They're quite well defined actually, so that's good. You can see as you get further away, the detail does indeed get less and less on these. I'm not even sure.
And of course, due to the perspective, the sheets look narrower and narrower.
Yeah.
Even though in reality they are actually all the same width.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like I was saying about the house earlier.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to call it at that. And in the interim, I'm going to rectify this bit of a mix-up. Oops. And then...
Looking at it with your wonky eye again.
That's terrible. Yeah, so I'm going to put that where it should be, and I'm not going to do anything else until you join me again. We'll try and get another one out quite quickly because we haven't really done a whole lot today. Although getting those top bits detailed in, I think it's looking quite nice now, isn't it? Strange.
It is looking very nice.
Yeah.
Again, it looks slightly strange because it looks like a roof on the sky.
Oh no, it does look strange.
But of course, once the side's in and it actually frames it as it should be, then
it's also weird because we are painting the old barn. That's what it's called, and that's where the focus of your eye goes to. And yet, when you look at it, it's kind of titchy compared to the whole painting, isn't it? You'd expect it to be a bit bigger.
Though it is a very nice composition.
It is a nice composition. It really does draw your eye into the centre of that. Right, guys. Sorry that we haven't. Well, no, I'm not sorry. We've done the roof. We've done all right. I'll rectify my little faux pas, and I'll see you next time when we can get this roof in and finished, and maybe make a start on the front, which would be excellent. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Me and the boys were sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. And we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion. Do it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, holidays and weekends. We can have one more party. There's more hell we should be raising. One more party now, one more party tonight.